Have you ever wondered why that one thing you really want is always out of stock? Or on the flip side, how a massive company manages to have millions of different products ready to ship at a moment's notice? Well, the answer to both is this incredible, high-stakes balancing act that happens behind the scenes. It's called inventory management. You get it right, your business soars. But if you get it wrong, well, it can be a total disaster. So picture this, a warehouse, just packed to the absolute ceiling with products. What are you looking at? Is that a gold mine of future sales just waiting to happen? Or is it a graveyard where money goes to die? It's a tough question, because the truth is, it's kind of both. And figuring out the difference between the two is exactly what we're going to break down. I mean, just look at the sheer scale of this operation. Every single one of those boxes represents a decision. It's an investment, a bet on what you, the customer, are going to want tomorrow, or next week, or next month. It is a gigantic logistical puzzle. And if even one little piece is out of place, it can cost a company millions.
And this right here, this is the central conflict. On one hand, your inventory is the lifeblood of your business. It's simple, right? You can't sell what you don't have. But on the other hand, every single unsold item is just cash tied up, sitting on a shelf. And even worse, a huge mountain of inventory can actually hide some really serious problems, like terrible forecasting or, making products that nobody actually wants.
Okay, so to figure out how to manage this beast, we first have to understand what it even is. So let's follow the journey of a product, all the way from just raw materials into a customer's hands.
This chart here, this is going to be our map. It's called the material flow cycle. As we move from left to right, that's time passing. And as the line goes up, that's value being added. But see those flat parts? That's where money is being spent, but no new value is being created. So let's check out the key stops along this journey. All right, first things first, a quick and simple definition. Inventory isn't just one thing. It's basically all the stuff a company uses, whether it's the nuts and bolts needed for production or that shiny, finished product sitting on a shelf waiting for you to buy it. And it all starts right here. Raw materials. This could be wood, steel, plastic, even digital code. At this point, it's just pure potential. It's the basic building block, just waiting for the transformation to start. Next up, those materials enter what's called work in process, or just WIP for short. Now they're being cut, welded, assembled, programmed, value is actively being added. But it's not a finished product yet. It's stuck in this crucial and often very expensive middle ground. And finally, you get your finished goods. These products are complete, they're packaged, they're ready to go. Now here's the really important part. The company has already spent money on materials, on labor, on everything to get to this point. But until somebody actually buys it, it's just cost sitting in a warehouse. Okay, so now we know what inventory is. But a warehouse can have thousands, even tens of thousands of different items. You can't possibly treat them all the same. So how in the world do you tame all that chaos and figure out where to focus your energy? This is probably the most important principle of smart inventory management. It just makes sense, right? You can't use the same level of control for a 10-cent screw as you would for a $10,000 engine. You've got to prioritize. And to do that, you need a system. And the most powerful tool for this job is something called ABC analysis. It's all based on that famous 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle. The big idea is that in pretty much any warehouse, a small handful of items account for the vast majority of the money that's tied up in stock. Now, just look at these numbers. They are absolutely staggering. Your A items, which might only be about 20% of all your products, make up a whopping 80% of your company's investment. And then look at the other end. Half of your items, the C category, are only worth about 5% of the total value. Suddenly, your priorities become crystal clear. So, what does this actually mean in practice? It means your time, your money, your most sophisticated control systems, all of it should be laser-focused on that big A slice. You manage the A's with intense precision, you give the B's some moderate attention, and for the huge number of low-value C's, you can use much simpler, more automated systems. So, you've sorted your stock using ABC analysis. That's awesome. But how do you actually measure your success? How do you keep score to know if your strategy is really working? Well, the main number on the scoreboard is something called inventory turns. The best way to think about it is as a measure of speed. It answers one simple question. How many times a year does your company completely sell through its stock and then replace it? It's one of the most powerful signs of a company's health. A high number, let's say 12 turns a year, is fantastic. That means, on average, your stuff is only sitting on a shelf for 1 month before it's sold.
The cash is flowing, products are moving, and the business is running like a well-oiled machine. But a low number? Well, that tells a very different story. 2 turns a year means your inventory is just gathering dust for 6 months on average. That's your cash just frozen on a shelf, unable to be used for anything else. It is a huge red flag for all sorts of problems, like slow sales or just bad management.
And all of this brings us full circle, right back to where we started. Inventory management is, and it always will be, a great balancing act.
This is the seesaw that every single inventory manager lives on every day. On one side, you want to maximize customer service. That means having plenty of stock so people can always buy what they want. But that weighs down the other side, which is your goal to minimize how much money you have tied up in that stock. You push one side up, the other one is going to go down. It's a constant struggle.
Ultimately, success really comes down to this one simple but incredibly difficult goal: having the right amount of the right stuff in the right place at the right time and for the right cost. It's all about finding that perfect and sometimes elusive balance.
So, I'll just leave you with this thought. The next time you go to a store or you're online and that item you want is sold out, think about this tightrope. That company just fell off. Did they lean too far towards keeping their costs low? Or did they just not lean far enough towards keeping you, the customer, happy? That right there is the great balancing act in action.